All right, there we are. We're live. Happy Saturday night. Glad to be here on David Devine Broadcasting. Thank you for joining me. Kind of sad news. I heard it today. I saw a bunch of posts on Facebook, and I kind of didn't want to believe it, so I didn't scroll past them, or I scrolled past them, but finally stopped to read a couple of them, and then the New York Times article that David Johansen had passed, it looks like yesterday. So, yeah, we have the thumbnail that says, "Rest in Peace, a tribute to a New York doll." So I'll read some of that New York Times article, go through some Facebook posts by people that have put up stuff about David, and talk about a couple of the movies, and then, whatever else, just kind of paying tribute. This one hits hard with David. Recently I didn't know how long he'd been really battling what he was going through and the extent of it, which it lays out in the New York Times article. What's up, Jory? Good to see you. So yeah, I had reached out on, he had the Mansion of Fun, I think it was called, podcast that I was reaching out, trying to get him some sort of communications talk, get him on a show or podcast like this or whatever. But I've been a huge fan since I was 15. So this is, hard news to hear. And definitely prayers go out to David and his family, as we'll talk about this tonight for just a little while here. Good to see you. Yeah, I'll get to the New York Dolls, or the New York, the New York Times article in just a second. But yeah, I'll just kind of personally talk about David and the New York Dolls, and man, what it meant to me. There's two bands that I kind of attribute to finding when I was 15 that still are my favorites today, and that was the New York Dolls and the Dogs D'Amour that I talk about a lot. But I think 15, I was buying, I think, In Too Much, Too Soon record, and New York Dolls, Mercer Street Sessions, Red Patent Leather, In Too Much, Too Soon, if I said that. And then later in the 2000s, when they started doing One Day We Will Be Pleased to Remember This, and they had a couple other albums at that time period with just One Day We Will Pleased to Remember This. Just incredibly written album. Great album, great lyrics. And I'm going to read a lyric or two tonight about it, or that was on the album. Oh, and we might have a special guest, maybe not, but good to see you. So I think I got the record and cassette back when I was about 15, and it's been a staple. I've played in bands, almost all the bands that I had. We played at least Personality Crisis. Great song, Human Being. I think when I found those tape, the first time I heard them, because I was just looking for something new. I really was not into a lot of the radio stuff, and I found, I think, a cassette first of them that looked wild. I think it was a live album, actually. And at first spin, I was like, it was so new and different. It was sort of Stones-like, but different. And but once you listen to it a couple times, you were hooked. I was hooked on it, and I've never stopped listening to it to this day. I got to see the New York Dolls one time, unfortunately, just once, but that was such a great show. And so it's a sad day hearing about David. But again, my thoughts and prayers go with his family and friends, and I just want to pop on and go over a little bit how much it meant to me, the New York Dolls, all these years. And then other things that he had done. Buster Poindexter. Hot, 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 of course, was his big song with them. And then, of course, all the movies. He played in Scrooged and um, Tales from the Dark Side, which I just rewatched that Tales from the Dark Side, where he played in it was an anthology movie, and he played in one of the stories called "The Cat from Hell," which I believe was written by Stephen King, and it was supposed to be on one of the Creep shows, maybe, but it was kind of a holdover to Tales from the Dark Side, in which David played someone that was supposed to come in and eliminate the cat into the mansion, which was great. Just great, great part of that anthology. And yeah, great actor. Can't decide if I want to drink coffee or water. All right. So yeah, so that's how I found it. 15, Never Look Back, the New York Dolls. And then, like I said, in the 2000s, then they came with that well-written album with Maimed Happiness and stuff on it. I'm going to look for some lyrics here in a minute, and we'll go through that, but just great. Just a poet, especially on that album, just the way he fit poetry into that music was incredible. But so, yeah, just paying tribute to David. Have been a huge fan all my life. All right, so let's see if we can bring up this New York Times thing. Let's see. Make this smaller. There we go. Perhaps not. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, so there's this is the New York Times article, right? New York Times. Yeah. There's David. Yeah, so the article there, it states, what we've just talked about. Yeah, headline is in the 70s. He had transgressive dolls who were proto-punk pioneers. Later refreshed himself as the pompadoured lounge lizard Buster Poindexter. So I'll just hit on some of these notes. I brought it up on my phone, but I guess I can read it here. Cool. Yeah. So singer-songwriter who at the vanguard of glam rock and punk, is the front man of the New York Dolls, died yesterday at his home Staten Island. He was 75. He was prolific in multi-genres, blues, calypso, and achieved his greatest commercial success in the late 80s and early 90s with his pompadoured lounge lizard alter ego Buster Poindexter. But his 1970s heyday with the New York Dolls, a band of lipstick-smeared men in love with trashy riffs and tough women, had the most culture impact, inspiring numerous punk, heavy metal, and alternative musicians. And that's definitely one of the definites. That's definitely one of the definites or constants through all this, is that I think that they were, labeled in the punk genre, the rock genre, blues, but their influence on all types of music is just, what it is. It's not isolated to just punk or rock. You'll see musicians today giving tributes and have always talked about what an inspiration the Dolls were. I'm seeing that all over Facebook today. So let's see what else it says. Talks about Morrissey here, singer-songwriter Morrissey of the Smiths, who first witnessed the band as a 13-year-old living in Manchester, England. 1973 BBC broadcast of the Dolls show. He watched them flail through the song Jet Boy. He had what he called his first real emotional experience, according to Nina Antonia's 1988 book, The New York Dolls, Too Much Too Soon. And then Morrissey soon became the president of the New York Dolls British fan club. Just kind of skimming through this article. There's a photo of the Dolls. There's I think Scorsese just did a documentary about David, and there's one really great about documentary about Arthur Kane too that I know called New York Doll. That's a really, really good documentary. Says Arthur Kane. they threw this in. Arthur Kane sometimes played multiple songs without remembering to plug in. Performing indelibly fast and loud anthems about trash, outer borough outcasts, and falling in love with Frankenstein. Yeah, a great song, Frankenstein by the Dolls. Here's the lyric they put in there from the song Human Being. If I'm acting like a king, Mr. Johansen sang, well, that's because I'm a human being. If you know that song, you should know that song. Lenny Kaye of Patti Smith's group said David had a bit of vaudeville in him. He was a carnival barker, and he wasn't afraid to be the center of attention. David Roger Johansen was born January 9th, 1950 on Staten Island, the third of 6 children. His father was a life insurance salesman who had been an opera singer in Norway. Welcome. Come on in. Enjoy, join the chat if you like. Saying rest in peace and thoughts and prayers to David Johansen and his family. I'll go through that early life. There's a young photo of David. Graduation. Again, this is a New York Times article. You can find this. It goes through the whole life. Says that when he joined the New York Dolls, musically, we wanted to bring back stuff with a little Richard punch to it. He told New York Times in 2005. It just goes on about the first drummer, Mercia, and then Jerry Nolan. There's another picture. David. And Johnny Thunders. Look at that. It's a great photo, isn't it? That is a great photo. The band's debut album, produced by Todd Rundgren and called simply The New York Dolls. Yeah, I think that's the first record I had, or tape, one of the two, was released in 1973. In Cream magazine, in that year in a year-end poll. The readers named the Dolls the best new band and the worst new band. So they won both honors. I had to fill up my coffee cup. Don't mind me. Yeah, we'll read a little bit more of this. Oh, Malcolm McLaren briefly managed the Dolls as they began to fall apart, dressing them in red patent leather. Okay, that album, that was Malcolm's doing. Before returning to London and managing the Sex Pistols. Of course, yeah, Malcolm was a Sex Pistols manager. It says the Dolls broke up in 75 while on tour in Florida. Although David and Sylvain staggered on with replacement musicians for another year. So yeah, this is again in the New York Times. It's really well written. I came across it somewhere on Facebook or something. So this is from the Village Voice. Paul Nilsson wrote this. One of their A&R men. In the end, they rode on real rather than symbolic subway trains to specific rather than universal places, played for an audience of intellectuals or kids or even farther out than they were. And when they eventually met the youth of the country, that youth seemed more confused and captivated by them. David released 5 solo albums. Yeah, I think a couple years ago or something. Yeah, I found a couple 45s of one of his albums. I have. So a friendship with actor Bill Murray led to Mr. David's appearance in the 1988 movie Scrooged as the taxi cab driving ghost of Christmas past. This article says that it was the most prominent role in his acting career, and he was in dozens. All right, so there we are. We're about up to the movies and the Buster Poindexter right here. Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, Buster Poindexter, tuxedo wearing crooner, and his signature cover to "Hot, Hot, Hot," originally recorded by the soca musician Arrow, became the party anthem and a minor hit, peaking at 45 on the Billboard's Top 100. That song is everywhere, right from commercials to every party you've been to since it was written. He had always displayed good taste in covers, going back to the Dolls' version of Bo Diddley's Pills and Archie Bell and the Drells. There's going to be a showdown, which is great. What a great song that is. He eventually retired Buster Poindexter and started David Johansen Band. So in 2004 is when Morrissey introduced the surviving New York Dolls, David and Sylvain and Arthur Kane, to reunite for 2 shows in London. And that's really where the focus and the center of the Arthur Kane documentary is. The New York Doll is around this time period of 2004 when they were preparing for that show, or 2 shows in London. And that, yeah, it goes through. I think they touch on it. Yeah, he was diagnosed. Arthur Kane was diagnosed with leukemia and died within hours after those shows. Yeah, so they made David and Sylvain made 3 more albums together between '06 and '11. Yeah. And Sylvain died in 2021. So leaving David as so last original New York Doll. So it says, yeah, in addition to Miss Hennessy, his stepdaughter, Miss David, is survived by his wife, Mara, a visual artist he married in 2013, who produced and designed many of his live shows, and 5 siblings, Michael, Elizabeth, Mary, and Karen. So there you go. There's a great, maybe, yeah, maybe his wife designed that. Oh, Personality Crisis. This is the cover of Martin Scorsese, the Showtime documentary about David. There you have it. Look at that. 2023 did that. Personality Crisis, One Night Only, a documentary centered on Buster Poindexter's show at the Cafe Carlisle in New York. Here's a good quote from the Times in 2006. He says, our attitude towards art was like, get up and do something, quit sitting there whining. That's what we stood for, that do something spirit. So there you go. That's a great quote. Mm-hmm. Um, okay, here's and I don't know if it's something that you can look into if you're interested, but I did want to mention this. So I'm glad it's in this article. Um, in the article, they're noting that it was a correction made, but anyway, uh, because yeah, I think because he broke his back and he was battling cancer, and they had finally set up. Uh, oh, they're saying that they announced the wrong um, relief fund, but it was the real relief fund was. So this is the one. I don't know if they're still, but if you're interested, you can look it up. It's a Sweet Relief Musicians Fund. Not GoFundMe. It was through Sweet Relief Musicians Fund. So that's where they were asking for help. I don't know if they still are. It's something to. Um, um, so just looking over a couple comments here. Watch me read a couple comments. Again, welcome. Hope you're having a great Saturday. I'm just jumping on here to talk about. I was going to do a video review, and then I noticed this, so I thought I'd come on and just pay a small tribute to David. Meant a lot to me musically and just as an artist all through my life. So, yeah, I just wanted to give my condolences to the family, small tribute, and then say hi to everybody. I'm going to read a couple more things about it, then we'll just talk and whatever. Maybe I have a guest coming. I don't know. We'll see. And then we'll talk about some things that we got moving forward. And drink coffee. Okay. Let's see. Just going through some of these comments real quick. A lot of people commenting on just a lot of shows. Yeah, you will be missed, David. Rest in peace. Love you so much. Yeah, you can go again. This is a New York Times article. I sat next to him in a restaurant once. When leaving, I gave him a shy smile, and he gave me a full Buster Poindexter grin. That's a good memory. Um, um, I love Johnny Thunders. He played every note like his life depended on it. That's for sure, right? What a great sound. Yeah. I mean, they had such an interesting sound. I mean, yeah, musically, I mean, that had to inspire so many guitar players and just the sound. It's just, yeah, it is incredible. What a brilliant fellow. Rest in peace. Yeah. Yeah, here's somebody. I highly recommend New York Doll. It was a touching story of the life of Arthur Kane. Unfortunately, I never got to see the Dolls live, but did see the Heartbreakers and David as a solo artist in late 70s. Sad, yeah, yeah. I got to see him once, but I think it was 2006, and I think Sylvain, uh, uh, Steve Conti was playing, and it was great. It's where I got this New York Dolls jacket I'm wearing at that show, actually. Um, Someone says a sad death. Besides inhabiting all his uh, efforts with flair, Johansen knew a lot about history of popular music. I will always love Frenchette. Yeah. So lots of comments. The article you can read at the New York Times. A couple great photos. That's a great photo. There's, David is Buster Poindexter. Great one with Johnny Thunders. Look at that. Yeah. All right. One more thing we'll look up. Okay. So yeah, here he is. Here he is in Scrooged with Bill Murray as the Ghost of Christmas Past in Scrooged. Cool photo. And then I have to read this. Although you can't see it, you can see what I'm reading. Let's get rid of this. So um, so this is off One Day It Will Please Us to Remember Even This, the album, and I think it was 06 ish. Getting 800 pop-ups on here. So this song's called "It's a Maimed Happiness," and it's unbelievable. But the lyrics, I mean, the music's great in this song. And there's others. This album, again, if you haven't seen it, One Day It Will Please Us to Remember Even This. It's a great album. It's lit. It's got so much poetry. It's incredible, and the music's great. So yeah, and here's a sample. I'll just read the first verse. It's a maimed happiness. I'll keep trying to acquiesce. It's like a tempestuous child you play with and humor to keep quiet as it possibly can, till finally it goes to sleep. Life takes a lot of finesse. It's a maimed happiness. So anyway, yeah, it goes on and on. The lyrics are phenomenal. He's got, you know, so many songs with great poetic lyrics on that album and other albums, but yeah, there it is. It's that album right there. So yeah, so we'll go. Yeah, let's take a look at some. See if we got any messages going across here that we want to read, and then we'll just say hey for a few minutes and go enjoy Saturday night, I guess, right? Yeah, nothing's popping up, but yeah, they had lots. I saw lots of tributes to him. Rest in peace from Hanoi Rocks and many others. Yeah, like I said earlier, he's influenced so many musicians of all genres. So it's just incredible to the stuff that he accomplished. And again, yeah, thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends. And David Johansen will be missed. Buster Poindexter, David Johansen, for his music and his artwork in movies and just anything else. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah, I was gonna, like I said, I was gonna do a movie video, which I still might do when I get off here. Today I watched The Hobgoblins. So I might do a video about that. But yeah, I was gonna do that. Yeah, I might still do that, but I was gonna do that, but then yeah, I finally broke down and kind of let it sink in that David had passed, and so I thought I would get on here and just at least do a small tribute because he meant a lot to me and a lot of other a lot of people too. So yeah, so there's that. That's that. So yeah, I might do another video tonight, but yeah, so yeah, on the channel we're doing probably 3 or 4 videos, movie reviews a week or more, and some shorts. So I'm having fun with that. We were going to have a guest tonight, Benny. Benny didn't make it yet. Who knows if he's coming? We'll see. But we might be doing a show on YouTube on here on Saturday nights. We'll see. We're going to talk about it. We were going to do just sort of a radio thing like we used to, but we were just talking about doing it on here. So yeah, there you have it. Let me see. Let me see. I'm checking on an outro here. You guys can watch me find an outro. Oh, there's a good one. There it is. All right. There we have it. So yeah, we'll see you in the next live stream of the videos. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Again, rest in peace. And All the best and best thoughts and prayers to David Johansen and his family and friends. And yeah, he did touch the lives of so many musicians of all genres, and certainly mine, which I've been listening to since I was a teenager and will continue to. And what great music and art that he was involved with and created. Okay, well, we'll see you next time, whether it be on Severely Cinematic or a Saturday live stream or whenever we do it again. All right, I want to thank you for watching now or in the future, and we will see you next time.